Welcome back to the Jackie Griffin Show, and we are joined here now on set with Mr. Gearie the Grench. That's what he said his Twitter handle and Facebook handle is, and he's also the director extraordinaire. He has a lot going on in his life. Welcome, Gearie.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about Gearie the Grench.
Well, Gearie, that's a nickname basically. I used to be in a hip hop real heavy. You know, back then everybody had a nickname or whatever. I was a producer, so they called me Grench, but it carried over into my video career. Awesome. I started off doing music videos for local artists. I worked with artists like Fabulous, DMX, Waka Flocka, name a few. And I did a lot of local, I branded a lot of local artists, from Boss Man, Melly Man, anyone Smashing Crip, anybody here I've done work with them.
Wow. So what drives you? What made you go into the
creativity?
This business?
Creativity. I mean, from the music to the video to construct. I mean, basically, if I can be creative, I'm happy. You know. So being creative, and I found that in the production field, you can be the most creative visually. You know, from doing CG, special effects. You know, doing production side, doing directing. Never acting though. I'm never in front of the camera. So this is the first. So you know.
So tell us a little bit about you as growing up. Is this something that you always knew that you were going to do?
Not really, but ever since Star Wars, it was something I was very interested in. You know what I mean? That was a little. I'm always been a tech geek. So if there's anything new and fresh, I want to be a part of it. But like back in '94, I think I produced my first video for my own back then rap group called Craze, East Baltimore. You know, actually a friend of mine, Frank Johnson, you might have heard of him. My first recording was done at his old studio on Saratoga Street in Baltimore. Wow. So yeah, so it's kind of full circle, but it's like I did my first video back then, and I knew that was something I wanted to do. But back then, equipment was so expensive. You pay like $80,000 for a camera. Wow. So it was way out of. It was a goal I wanted, but it was way out of reach. But then with all the the technology revolution that came about recently, everything's affordable. So when I got the chance, I jumped on it. You know, I started getting into it real heavy, and here I am. So,
for people like me,
right?
What all goes into producing a music video?
A music video? First, let's say good music. And I can't say that all the music's good, but you still, I'll say a vision. Basically, you listen to someone's music, you get a vision for it, you know? You always try to, I think what separates the good ones from the bad ones is that they don't really identify with who the artist is. And the connection to the music the artist has. So when they shoot a video, they're just shooting a visual, but they don't tap into who the artist is. They don't show or convey what the artist's expression is over the song. I always give a scenario, like back in the day in the 90s when before like the West Coast really blew up. You heard, the East Coast, you had Biggie, you had Mobb Deep, you had all New York rappers and everything, and we had the videos by them. We saw their visuals, we saw what they looked like. But then when the Chronic dropped, right? Before the videos dropped, we heard the music. We'd be in the club. It sounded dope. It was great, but we didn't know how to dance to it because we never saw it. We slowed everything down. But then when they dropped them first few videos, they showed us how to move to the music. And then that next week in the club, everybody moving like they moving. Everybody doing a little smooth, like one step and everything. And so, like I said, that's the stuff that goes into it. You gotta be able to identify with the artist and what they're expressing, their environment, where they're from. And the visual, that's the whole point of the visuals. That's what you're selling. So
when you do the music video, who picks the people, the actors or whatever that are in it? Is that you, or is it the person?
It all depends on the budget. I don't care if you got a $20,000, $30,000 budget or a $5,000 budget. It depends on the budget. You can get at least Neil in the video if you got a good budget to it, but if you don't, you can't. You can't get anybody in it. So a lot of times they have people who they're around the way actors and around the way models and everything, and you try to work around it, but it's a luck of the draw.
So what does Gearie have going on now that he wants everybody to know about?
Right now, I'm really happy to be involved with a new project called Electric City, which has already got legs of its own. But it's this revolutionary platform that's going to basically improve the lives of a lot of independent artists, musically, visually, acting, across the board at the entertainment spectrum. Right now, I'm in charge of most of the visuals and content creation. And along with other partners, Daryl Pierce and Frank Johnson, a few other people, we're really looking to really push this thing and make it something great.
Now, how is it going to change?
It'll change based on the climate of the music business right now. It's atrocious. You know, and I'm just using that as one example. Artists get ripped off left and right. They've been getting ripped off for years. Now you have scenarios in the music business where even established artists are getting ripped off. Case in point, Pharrell Williams. After that, you know, Happy, 'cause I'm happy. Remember how it was?
Yes.
That was huge, right? You would have thought he got paid a lot of money for that, you know, with all the viral spends he got on YouTube and, you know, Google and everything. He collected a check for $2,000.
What?
$2,000 after all that rhythm. Won a Oscar for that song, and only collected $2,000.
How did that happen?
Well, what happens is these industry folks, these labels now, because, you know, records aren't selling. You know, it's not really tangible anymore. So what's happening is they sell, before some artists are even signed, your musical rights are sold to a tech firm.
Oh, wow.
Like Google, like YouTube, like Best Buy, like some technology. It's sold, so they can use them in their commercials, using them for whatever they want to use them for. And then basically when it's time for you to get your royalties for all the spins and all the, you know, airing they use your stuff for, the labels made a deal with these tech companies that they don't have to pay you your royalties. The tech companies will pay you your royalties.
Wow.
And guess what they're paying you? Google cents.
Oh, wow.
They're paying you like pennies on the penny. So basically, a lot of artists are getting raped, and I hate to use that word, but they're getting raped. And something's got to give. And a place like Electric City is going to change the game. It's going to change the entire environment. And now maybe my partner, Daryl Pierce, can come on one day and explain it a little bit more. I'm just a visual guy. I'm not the, you know, I don't do everything, but that's basically the, you know, the summation of what's going on. But it's a whole nother look.
Now, so you're the tech savvy guy, right?
I'm the guy who basically I bring you visuals. I'm the guy who's going to be directing and creating content for the network and for the sites. Yes, it's bigger than just a website. It's really a network. A network of multiple genres, of multiple music. It's going to cross platforms.
That was going to be my next question.
It's revolutionary.
Is it going to be a genre of music or just one particular?
No, it's universal. It's baseless. It's not just one urban feel. It's not just one suburban. It's everything. It's music. Music is bigger than just a neighborhood.
Correct.
You know, and let's be real. Since like where? But 2003 or 4, music has, or even urban music, everything's pop. Everything's pop. I mean, remember back in the 90s where you had people like Tribe Called Quest talking about, no, we're not going pop, and now everything's pop. You know, and even artists like him made songs like Vibrant Thing, which is straight pop. So music is music now. You know, I don't think it's just one definition of what music is or what it is. You might be rap, you might be singing, but overall, all of it's music. So. And
you're a lover of it all, right?
I love it all. Not all of it.
You don't.
Some of that stuff. Some of that stuff gotta go, but I love music. I love anything that can give me can give me nostalgia or emit some type of emotional response. I love it, you know.
Now, if there are any viewers out there that is interested in getting into what you do, tell them what, you know, where did you go to school, or how did you educate yourself on everything that you needed to know to become a producer in your field?
What I'll say is love what you do, first of all. Whatever it is you want to get into, love it. Because that love will always bring you back to it. Second, I'll say don't have tunnel vision. Don't think just there's only one road to your goal, because you'll be hit with a whole bunch of U-turns and left turns and right turns. When I got into this business, I actually wasn't in this business. I got out the music business, went in construction, you know, went into design and architecture. Opened my own company. I worked in the field for other companies for like about 4 years. Then I opened my own company, and after like 2 years of my own company, I made enough money. I made some pretty good money, so I started investing in what I wanted to do. I had friends who told me, hey, maybe you should do what you always talked about doing, like become a director. Start doing your own content. Like, wow, that's great. So I went and bought all my equipment, went out, shot my first video project, and it sucked. And so yeah, it sucked real bad. It was better than most people's though, because I had an eye for it. But to me, it was horrible. And so with my equipment, what I did was I used my brain, went to Towson University, went to a few universities, and I started talking to some of the professors there who taught like film and stuff like that, and I got some of the best students, and I started renting them my equipment for next to nothing. And the deal was, I'll rent you my equipment if I can come out and work on your productions. And so I kind of put myself through school the other way around.
Correct.
So I worked with those guys, and I basically learned, and I was humble. I learned how to gaff. I'm putting lights up. I'm doing all the stuff you have here. I started basically doing that from the ground up. And by the time I started rapping with those guys or finished up, I was actually directing some of their content. And so then I realized I was ready. Then my very next video project went to MTV.
Wow.
So it was night and day. It was night and day. And one thing I will say to people is, even though you have your dreams, you feel like you're that one-man army, you're that creative force. Never close your eyes to somebody else's experiences. You know what I mean? Because they might have that one little thing that you might be missing that you can pick up on. So always open yourself to learn. Because that's one thing about this field. If you stop learning, you're dead. There's no point in you even doing it. If you don't have a creative base or a center that makes you want to get better and better and learn more, it's dated. It's no point in doing it.
Wow. Well, we'll be right back with more from Mr. Gearie, the Grench.
The Grench.
In a few minutes on the Jackie Griffin Show.
Too much.
I'm Apostle David Brown from Atlanta, Georgia, and you're watching The Jackie Griffin Show on WPB Gospel.
You're funny. Welcome back to The Jackie Griffin Show, and we are still joined live on set with the very funny Mr. Gearie, the Grench.
Hello.
And he was talking to us earlier when we went on break about how he got started in the business and where he got educated, and some of the stuff he said was very, very interesting. And so we just wanted to revisit some of it so he can show you that no matter what, you got to keep learning. Like he said, when you stop learning, you should be dead. I mean, I learn something new every day.
That's right.
Every day.
That's right.
So please.
I'm learning something right now.
So please tell us more about how you were educated and what did you do to make yourself the expert in what you're doing.
I'm expert. Yeah, I mean, just consistency, really. It's like because when I jumped into it, I have over 200 video projects to date that I've completed, and they were completed like within 4 years of me being in that business. It was because it was a hunger. Like basically, after every project, I wanted to do another project and another project. Now back then, they paid very well. You could get anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000 a project, which was great, back then. But back in the '90s, you can get $200,000. So I don't know if that's really good or not. But it kind of fueled your interest. Like, it made me say, "Dang, I can really make money doing this. I can make a living doing this. Is something I really want to do." So I jumped in with 2 feet. But like the record business, this business has hit its brick wall. You have, as far as money, you have a lot of technology. With the technology, there's a lot of people coming in the game who really aren't good. They're learning, some of them. Some of them are just in it just to say they're doing something. They're not really in it to learn or to really contribute. So you have that conflict, just like with the record business where the money doesn't justify the work. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's the love that takes over from there. You get me? It's the creativity that takes over from there that allows you to create your own content, to go to the next step. It's kind of a forcible push to that next step. You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
so
I do.
You look internal, and it's an easy question to ask yourself. Do I really want to do this? Is this something I really love? And if it's something you love, you'll keep doing it, and you'll find a way to make your way with it.
That sounds wonderful. Well, we've learned a lot from you today, and the information that you've given is, very valuable.
Thank you.
You're right about when you talk about doing something that you love, because if you do something that you love, then your interest will constantly be there and the motivation.
Absolutely, right.
So if you can look into our camera and give out all your information so that people can contact you to either hire you to do jobs for them or just to get information to find out what's up, what's next for the Grench.
Okay.
And also just to speak your heart.
This camera right here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hello. My name's Gearie the Grench. You can reach me at Gearie the Grench. That's GeaRieTheGrench on Twitter and Instagram. That's it. That's all.
And we'll be right back on the Jackie Griffin Show.